Hey folks, it's Fifth Guy here, how you doing? Welcome back to Estancia Lapacho, set here in Paraguay. Now, I realise that me hitching this thing on to this tiny little tractor may seem a little bit much. But I do have my reasons. We're just moving it, that is all. We are not doing anything else with it, we are just moving it. So I can lift it up like that, and I'm hoping that this tractor can move it. The tractor cannot move it. Fantastic. Okay, so this is just a little bit too much for this poor tractor. It is not able to do it, and we do not have independent brakes on this game, so we can't use that to kind of anchor it round the corner a little bit and do what it needs to do. So we'll leave that one there. We'll get a bigger tractor to move that one. I'm going to put another couple bits of machinery away in the shed. We are going to head up to the top end of the map, and we are going to do our daily load of wood chips, and we're going to do our daily little bit of working on the field up there. Remember, we do need to do a bit each day until such time as the whole project is finished. This is something that I would very much like to do. I'd like to keep the whole thing moving and get it all finished. Right, we'll stick this one in here right next to that seed drill over there. So, yeah, we have a weekly event that happens every week. Now, I asked, the last week's weekly event was, we had disease in the field. Now, I didn't actually specify how many fields or what fields the disease should encounter. So I put that one up for a vote. And I said to you, did you want me to count it as everything of the next crop that we plant? Should it just be one... Why is that not... Oh, there it is. There we go. Should it just be one crop, one random field out of all of them? Or should it be everything that we plant? Now, I can say now, I didn't actually say in any of the videos last week that I never intended that to be any kind of option. When I came up with the ideas, I actually intended for that to be a... I'm just looking at this, I'm thinking that we want to sell this seed drill, really. I don't really want to keep it any longer. Because it takes so long to use and so long to plant everything. So I'm thinking that we'll take this one over here and we'll put it so it's ready to sell rather than putting it away in the shed. It's ready then to run down to the... to the merchant over there. So we'll just drive that one over there and we'll just drop that one there. So yeah, I said, did you want me to... I should have done it as a random field. And I asked you if you wanted it to be every single field we own, a random field, or all of the next crop which we plant, which would have been all of the maize or the corn. I just realised I have done this again. I do this every week, don't I? Every single week, but at least I remembered early this time. Right, let's just do that, and we'll jump onto here. I need to find something else to move with this tractor a minute. So, yeah, we had 1,121 people answer that question, and of the 1,121, 86 people said do every field that we own, 100 people said do all of the corn, and 935 people said for me to do the just one random field. So we will do one random field next week for our... assigned crop. The next one that we plant is going to have zero fertilizer put into it whatsoever. We're not going to have any fertilizer in there at all. I'm going to put this trailer here undercover, and there is another sugarcane trailer kicking around somewhere. Oh, that's up the top end of the map at the moment, so we'll put that one undercover as well. So yeah, that brings me on to my weekly event, the random event that happens every week. And this week I shook a 5 first, which takes us to the machinery section, and then I shook a 3, which is combine breakdown. Next harvest, the combine must not be used. Instead, one must be leased. Now, this is not one that we've had come up before, and I had originally intended when I wrote this up not to have the Bison Combine by this point. I was just going to use it once and then I was going to sell it, but I quite liked using the Bison in the last harvest, so I ended up keeping it, which is why we've now got 2 combines. So I'm not going to say that both combines are broken down. What I'm going to say is that the main combine, that one there, is the one that's broken down, so we won't be able to use that one for the next harvest. We will be able to use the headers for it. That wouldn't be out of the way. That wouldn't be an unusual thing to be able to put the header onto another combine. I've seen that done before. Sometimes it may need a little bit of adaptation, but it's entirely possible. So we just got to lease a combine. We don't actually need to lease a header if we don't want to. The combine that we lease, though, this is the difficult question. Which one do we lease? Now, we've got, at the moment, we've got that combine right there. And I have been seriously considering buying one of these combines right here. This huge, great big monster here, the S... No, that's not the huge, great big monster. That's a small one. That one, I think, is a huge, great big monster I was considering. The T660. So I'm thinking that we will lease that combine for the harvest, and we can put it onto the header that we've got, and we can see how it performs. But then I thought, well, you know what? I'm going to put this up to a vote. I'm going to let you guys all vote on this. Which combine do we lease for our harvest? Because we won't get started on harvest this week, I don't think. Because there are a few other things that we need to do first. So we're not going to quite get started on the harvest. It'll be next week that we start the harvest. So we can either lease one of these two here. The Massey Ferguson, the biggest Massey Ferguson, so the Delta 9380. Or the New Holland CR1090. So those two are the standard, the base game choices. We could lease the T660 or the T670. I'll go for the biggest one that we can get on here. The 670 and Michelin set wide tyres, deluxe tracks. I think, 36. What's the difference between 36-inch track and the deluxe tracks? I think we'll go for deluxe. I like the sound of deluxe. Even though those are more expensive, I'm still going for deluxe. So we'll go for those. That will be our option. It's going to be $28,000 to lease out. But yeah, that will be, so is that one. Or we've got this one up here, this versatile one right here. This is a 12,000 litre tank, 490 horsepower engine. I don't know much about this one. I don't know anything about it at all. I've never heard of this type of combine before. Maybe we'll go for front twins on that. 28,000 again, that one's going to cost. So we can go for the versatile. We can have the John Deere, we can have the New Holland, or we can have the Massey Ferguson. It's your vote, it's your game. Head into the comment section down below, let us know which one you want and why, and of course don't forget to actually cast your vote in the top right hand corner. Which combine do you want us to use when we come to do our next harvest, because we are not able to use the combine that we currently own because it has unfortunately broken down. Now I'm just going to move this trailer here, we're going to dump this one into the shed, and then... I'm kind of running out of things to put into the shed. We've got most of our stuff under cover now, which is actually very good. I'm really quite impressed with this, the fact that we've managed to get everything under cover. I am very, very pleased with this. It is a little bit of a squeeze here in places, but overall I think we've done well to get everything in here, especially as we've done most of it using this tiny, tiny little tractor here. It's a magnificent little workhorse, this thing. I'm quite pleased with it. Just back that one up there. There we go. Bit more. There we go. That'll do fine. I'm just going to leave that one there. And we are going to go... Where are we going to go? We're going to go up to the top end of the map a minute. We're going to load up a load of wood chips. We're going to sell those. And we're going to do a little bit more work on the fields up there. Right, let's do our usual. Get this bad boy started up. And that one as well. Right. It does very strange things when you exit the game and you come back in. It always does strange things with your trailers when they're loaded. And puts them in strange positions and does weird things with them. And I put too many logs into that one, so I've just wasted another load of logs. I do this quite frequently with this. But I'm starting to think that it doesn't actually matter too much, because we've got so much here that it's not really going to have a long-term impact on us. And what is the wood chips for us today? Let's take a look. $259. That's actually not too shabby. That's not too shabby at all. And I'm also seriously considering selling some of this. I mean, we've got the bakery there is $734 per 1,000 litres, which is actually pretty good. We've got a little bit of canola there. We've got some sunflowers. Because we've got to be careful. We've got to remember that we've already lost a load of our corn. We had to sell that really, really cheap, which was not good. The random events are dangerous events. There's a lot of items on there that can result in us losing some of our crops, some of our stored crops. And so we do have to be very, very careful that we don't store too much stuff. I'm also wanting this week to do a little bit more to the cows. I want to find some time to do something to the cows, which there's one thing that I would one thing in particular that I want to do to sort of get ready for the cows to help with them, and that is to get some grass for them. Now we've got a field that we can use for grass, which we're not currently using for grass, and I want to do something with that field. Namely, I want to plough it all up, and that is going to take a bit of time. That is going to take a little while to sort of figure out. Because we're doing ploughing and stuff up here as well. We've got all this that we're doing ploughing on, but I wanted to plough up the area down there so that we can make a bit of hay or something for the cows. I mean, I know that we've got loads of silage in that for them, so at the moment they're okay, but I do want to have something ready so that we can make hay for them as well. And it was that field, that area there, that I said previously that I wanted to do for them for grass. So we could very well go and do that as well. We've got this field up here, and I've said all along that I was planning to do potatoes up there in that field, which would be then a root crop that was available for the pigs. But I've had a few people saying to me that they would like to see me do sugar beet up there instead of potatoes, because I'm doing potatoes currently on Sandy Bay. I do a lot of potatoes on Sandy Bay. And so there's quite a few people who said that they would like to see me doing the sugar beet instead, just so that there's a bit of variety between the two series that I'm doing. So yeah, I am open to suggestions on that one. Would you like to see me doing sugar beet? Now, the way that I see it at the moment is that we're unlikely to be in a position to be doing the root crops before March. It's like it was the beginning of March. I think like March 10th or something. I can't remember now. When the new DLC comes out, it's the Roper DLC. So what I'm thinking is, if we're doing sugar beet over there, if we're doing sugar beet there, that could actually work out quite nicely, because we could then do we use that new DLC to do this. I mean, I realise that it's kind of overkill for that tiny little field, but it would be a good excuse to get the DLC and properly showcase it and take a look at it and see what it can do without having to spend hours and hours working on some big fields or anything. We just get a little tiny field and we can work through it, because there's a sugar cane, sugar beet. It's beet. I got to remember. It's beet. Sugar beet. I get very easily confused. I spent the whole of the time that I was actually doing sugarcane calling it sugar beet, and now that I'm not, I'm referring to everything as sugar cane. I finally got the sugar cane drummed into my skull, and now I can't do anything about it. So yeah, the sugar beet over there. We'll take a look at the Roper stuff. I think that could work out quite nicely. You know, we could sort of do it very quick. I know it would be expensive leasing the machinery to do that, but it's kind of like we're getting stuff on demo and taking a look at it, and but we're having to pay for the demo. So yeah, it's not quite like real life, but I figure that it could be quite good. So I'm leaning quite strongly towards and liking the idea of doing sugar beet over there rather than doing potatoes. So I don't know what you guys think. Let me know in the comment section down below. Do we wait until the new DLC comes out, and then that would sort of be when we start doing pigs? We can plant some sugar beet there like the week before or something, or even a couple of weeks before, depending on what it would be, and then we've sort of got it all ready so that we can go and take a really good look at the new DLC, try out all of the different sugar beet machinery. So I got it right that time. I said sugar beet. Try out all of the new sugar beet machinery, see what it's got to do, what it's got to offer, and how it performs, and so on and so forth. Yeah, talk about that today in the comment section. I'd really like to see your views and opinions on that. What do you think? I know that a lot of people are a little bit disappointed with the fact that we're getting this sugar beet DLC, because we got so much sugar beet stuff already. They released sugar beet DLC in the last round of Farming Simulator. Farming Simulator FS17 had sugar beet stuff added to it, I think. I think it did. Didn't it? Yeah, the Homer was added, wasn't it? And they've got all of this sugar beet equipment already, and we just sort of got a different manufacturer. But what they haven't done, they haven't really looked at for ages, is potatoes. They haven't done any new machinery for potatoes. There are other machines available for potatoes that you can do, so special overloaders and stuff like that. And that has kind of been neglected. So I know that there are a lot of people who are disappointed with this new DLC that's coming out. But that being said, I still think it looks good. I still think it does look like it's going to be fun to use. It's a bit of variety on the stuff that we've already got. So I will be looking at it. I will be getting it. I will be looking at it. I will be seeing what it can do, what's available with it, and so on and so forth. But at the same time, yes, I hear you, and I completely understand. I too was a little disappointed when I found out that they were once again going towards sugar beet rather than towards potatoes. I would very, very much like to see them do something with potatoes very soon. I mean, it doesn't look like we're going to get a potato DLC, which is disappointing, but you never know, we may get something yet. There's a little while to go before FS19 comes out, and they're talking about FS19 right now. There's a few like little pictures and stuff. I don't think there's very many details have come out about it just yet, but it's there. It's floating around in the background. We do have FS19 definitely being talked about. It's a kind of reddish color on the pictures that I've seen of it. That's about all I've seen so far. There's just a few sort of retweets, a few tweets in it on Twitter from their Twitter feeds, and I've seen these little bits to it, and it looks interesting. I'm definitely interested in what they've had to offer on there. Right, let's just turn that one off a minute, and there we go. I want that one. And so if I start that one up, and then I activate the allow create fields, we are going to go and we're going to plow up this little section right here. We're going to sort of work our way through this and hopefully plow up some of it. This Stara is a beauty of a tractor, isn't it? It really does have some impressive pulling power. I am more and more impressed with this one every time we use it. To be able to pull a 9-furrow reversible plow is quite impressive. That is a lot of pulling power required. I mean, 180 horsepower on this thing. I've seen 180 horsepower tractor working with an 8-furrow reversible plow, and it did it pretty impressively. It did it pretty well. So I know that it can be done if the soil conditions are right. If you've got really heavy clay, then yes, it would struggle. But this isn't really heavy clay. I don't think it is anyway. I think there is clay involved with this soil here. I do. I genuinely do think that there is clay involved with this, but I don't think it's a particularly heavy clay. I think it's kind of a clay loam, so it's like a kind of a medium soil, medium-ish. I honestly, I don't know. I know that we do have a few viewers in Paraguay itself, so if you could give me some hints as to what type of soil this red soil is. I mean, are we talking like quite a light soil for this, or is it indeed a very heavy clay soil? Because I know that some red soil, well, a lot of red soils in the UK are fairly heavy clay. It's just the way it is. But there are other parts of the world where red can still be quite a light soil. I mean, there are places in the UK where there's some fairly reddish soils, and it's not that particularly heavy. It's not sort of a heavy clay soil, but yeah, it does change. The colour doesn't necessarily dictate that it's a heavy clay soil. The colour here is, as far as I know, the colour here is actually been is formed by iron washing out of the hills, so that the soil is quite sort of rich with a large quantity of iron in it, and that is what causes it to have this deep, rich red colour. And it's got nothing to do with the fact, it's got nothing to do with it being clay or otherwise. It's just the fact there's a lot of is it iron sulfates, iron sulfates or iron sulfites or something? I can't remember. There's the exact chemical names and everything. It always confuses me. I always get them wrong. I can read about them, and I can retweet them on. I can read a chunk of text on Wiki, and I can repeat that for a day or two, and then I generally forget the fine details of the finer detailed points of it. They tend to start slipping my mind, which is never a good thing, really, because then I can't actually repeat them properly. So we'll just bring this one in round here. So, like I said, I'm thinking of ploughing up a little bit down by the cows and replanting that with grass, which would be a really good idea. It would gain us a bit more grassland down there that we could do when we can come and deal with the cows. But the downside to it is that we then have to take this plough down there and we have to go and use it and do a load of work with it, and there's a load more ploughing to get done. It is something that we will be doing at some point, but I'm not sure we ought to be doing it just yet, because it's, we've got all this project up here, and by the time I finish all of this, you're going to be a bit fed up with me using the plough. That's why I'm not doing it all in one big chunk now. I'm going to do this a little bit each day. We'll just do little tiny bits of it each day, so that we have done some, but we're not going to sort of go into overkill. I don't even think I'm going to do all of this section here today. I don't think be a good idea. I think we ought to move on and do something else. There's a couple of things that I would like to get done today as well. Aside from this, we've put a few machines away, and we've done that. We've done our load of wood chips. I would also like to take that seed drill, the Stara seed drill, which is a really good one. It served us well, but I want to sell it. I want to get rid of it, and I want to get a new seed drill, because it takes so long to get through the fields with that one. I mean, we could go and buy like a fleet of them, but again, they run out so fast that I'm not really sure that's the best idea. But now that I've literally just said that, I just suddenly thought, well, why don't I ask you guys? Do you want me to run 2 or 3 of those seed drills at once, and then when we come to do our next planting, just kind of have like several fields all being planted at once, and we concentrate on that for like a couple of episodes, and we could get round the whole lot pretty quickly. If we had, say, 4 seed drills running, we could get through it in no time at all. So do you want me to do it like that, or would you rather I did it with a bigger seed drill? Just go and get a bigger seed drill, we can put it going in background, and then we can forget about it while it does the planting, and we can go on and do other things. Using multiple seed drills is great and all, but we do have to concentrate on it, and we have to focus on that, which not everybody's going to want to see. You're not going to want to see just me doing a load of planting, because it does get boring. It definitely gets boring to watch doing the same job over and over. So there's the problem with doing these big jobs. I'm weaving an awful lot here. This is probably putting unnecessary strain on the plow, and also putting unnecessary strain on the tires of the tractor. I did tell you once previously about there was a guy, it was actually that I knew, I said about the 180 horsepower tractor. It was a big John Deere tractor, pulling an 8-furrow reversible plow. Now they were busy working, and it was raining one day, so obviously the soil had got a bit heavier with that, the mud and everything, and the tractor was going along, busy doing the ploughing, and he sort of stopped moving. All his wheels, his wheels suddenly all went flat. He had this great coming from all the tyres, and it all went horribly wrong. What had happened is it was so heavy, the tractor had kept moving, and the tractor hadn't stopped, but the steel rims inside the wheels, they kept moving, but the tyres hadn't. It was so heavy, and the weight on the back was so heavy, but the wheels had kept moving and all the tyres had stopped. It ripped out the valves and everything, and the tyres all went down. So then they had to call somebody out, and they had to replace them, and they just repaired them. They didn't do anything different. They just repaired them, and he carried on doing his ploughing. I thought it was just a bit unlucky, because it never happened before. They'd had this set up for a couple of years, and he'd never had this happen before. He carried on. 45 minutes after he started, I'm sure it was 45 minutes, it may not have been, it may have been longer, but anyway, 45 minutes after he started, it happened again. Same thing. All 4 tyres went flat because the tractor tyres spun inside the rims, and away they went. Just did the whole lot, it knocked them all out. So that time the farm manager decided, you know what, we don't want to do this again, because it costs a fortune to have the guys come out and repair the tyres, put new valves and everything on. So he had them bring out new tyres, and it's not just new tyres, it's a whole new set of wheels. These are special wheels that have got lugs welded onto the inside steel frame all the way round. There's little like spade bits, and they stick into the tyres all the way round to actually stop this from happening. It's that much of an issue with the newer tractors. I mean, say newer tractors, this was 20 years ago. But is that it had become that much of an issue with tractors doing things like that. There's so much power in these tractors now, that they now have a specially designed tyre to stop this from happening. In this, so all these bits of steel all the way around, so it's not physically possible for the tractor to rip its own wheels out by spinning around inside the tyres. I thought that was amazing. I've never heard of it before or since. Because I've never tended to sort of mix very much in circles where they did, use the big machinery. I didn't sort of do that very much. But I just thought that was absolutely amazing that such a thing could even happen. The sheer power of the machine to be able to do that. It did seem quite impressive to me. So I've never forgotten that. That is always something that I remember with the big tractors and the power of it. And whenever I'm sort of looking at a smaller tractor like this, pulling a big plough, I'm always brought back to the wheels spinning inside the tyres. Now, I'm pretty sure I have told everybody that before, so I do apologise for repeating myself. Right, I'm going to stop there. I said I wasn't going to do it all, so we'll finish that in tomorrow's episode. There's an incentive for you to come back and watch next episode. For those of you who don't like me leaving jobs unfinished, you will see it finished. It's just going to be next episode. Right. So if we've done that, we're going to be keeping hold of the seed drill over here just a little bit longer so that I can see what your comments and everything are. So I'm actually just going to take this one and I'm going to just move it off to the side a bit. It's already off to the side. We'll move it down over here so that it's ready to go, when we need it. So yeah, I can either keep this one and we go and buy 2, maybe even 3 more of these, and we have a fleet of small starers being pulled probably on Starer tractors as well, because we've got a few of those. I like this idea, I must admit. Now that I think about it, I do like the idea of having a fleet of starers, all working the fields together. If we decide not to do that, though, if you decide that you would prefer to see me traipsing up and down, well, not traipsing up and down the field quite so much, and we just get something and let it go, we could either get one of those right there. I don't want to get one of those. I don't want to actually get one that takes fertilizer. I would rather have one that doesn't. Although saying that, this starer here takes fertilizer anyway. So no, scratch that. Just ignore that. We will probably have to plant our random field with 1 layer of fertilizer just to be able to keep the seed drills running. But we'll see about that later on. So yeah, we've got that one. This one here does require a much bigger tractor, and I don't think we've got a big enough tractor to be able to pull it, which is a little bit of an issue. We could have some problems with that, so I don't know if we should get that one. I could consider one of these not that one. I could consider this horse one right here. It is a very big one. Again, it needs a very powerful tractor, but this is a direct drill, which is also good. We've got a John Deere there that we haven't used. We could always test that one. Thinking that one, really, we don't want that one for long term. So, yeah, something, I don't really know at the moment. I'm completely open to suggestions on that. So, get into the comment section and have a little chat about that as well. I've got lots of things to talk about today. Just give me your thoughts and opinions. What do you want me to do? And if there's no particular feelings on that one, just leave it and I will make a decision next week. Now then, we've got a few bits and pieces under here. We've got that small trailer there, which we're going to be putting... I'm probably going to do the same as what I did last time, and we'll put the small combine going with that tractor. Although, now that I think about it, we're going to be whole cropping most of the crop that we've got up here, which is going to sort of take care of most of this. We're not going to have any issues. So yeah, we won't be needing the small combine to sort of do some of these smaller fields over here. We can have one big combine that can go powering through all of the soybeans over here, and also powering through all of the corn down here. We're probably not going to be bringing the bison out this year, because we're doing all this whole crop here. Yeah, it's probably not going to be coming into it. But what I do want to do is I want to do something with the cows. We haven't done anything at all with the cows apart from just sort of nod our heads to them over the fence, and I feel that we could do more. We don't have all that much hay in there at the moment. They've got other stuff. They're fine for other stuff at the moment, but power food is starting to trickle down a bit. So we are going to need to do something to these cows soon. So what I'm thinking is soon can become now. And what we want to do is we want to go and find a tractor. I must have a tractor here somewhere. I could go with the little... Oh, we've got that one over there. That one is a little bit slow, but it'll do. We can run that one down. And we want to get a... Where are we? Animals, that's what I'm looking for. Now, I do like using... I haven't actually got the great big one here. Okay, well... You know, I've never used this one. I've never, ever used it. That takes 13. This one here... Well, this one takes 16,000. The reason that I've never used this one is because it only takes 13,000 litres. And I don't think that's enough. You could put in 1 bale of straw, 1 bale of hay, and 1 bale of silage. We don't have a clamp of silage, so we can't sort of use it on the face of the clamp anyway. So, yeah, total mixed ration, base food, and power food that can be fed to cow. I see! I didn't realise it was base food and power food together. I mean, I knew it filled it up, but I didn't realise it was like a set percentage. I suppose it must... That would make sense, I guess. Right, so, yeah, we want that one right there. I don't think we've really got enough cows here to warrant getting a massive, great big machine like the Pecan, and I use the Pecan a lot anyway, so I think we'll leave that one this time. So let me unhitch that one there, and then we can leap into this tractor, and we can start heading down, and we can go and buy ourselves a brand new trailed feed mixer. And then we're going to bring that one back, and we've got 1 bale of silage is already out and ready. We're going to need a bale of hay and a bale of straw, and we can do either another bale of hay or another bale of silage. We'll do another bale of hay because silage is the really expensive stuff to buy, so it's better to use 2 hay, 1 silage, and 1 straw, I think. It'd be a lot easier if this thing was faster on the road, but it gets there eventually, so we can't complain too loudly. So we'll bring this one in around here like this and anchor to a halt right there. We've got a bale of silage already out. So then we can come up to here and how do we do this? We press R to open the storage menu. Right, we've got 33 bales of hay. So I want 2 bales of hay. That's what I want. So we do that like that and then you go OK. And it puts 2 bales of hay out the front ready for us. And then I go back in here again and I move over to square bale straw and I do that and I go OK and it puts a bale of straw out as well. Look at that. Isn't that beautiful? I'm curious. I want to see now. I want to see what happens if we put more out. So if I go here. Nope, you've got to move in a bit. There we go. I see. Right, hang on. I'm going to do it this way round. I want to face it. I want to see what happens. And if I load 4 there, I'm going to actually load all of the... No. Square bale grass. I don't want grass. I want square bale hay. Oh. This one doesn't have capacity for square bale silage. We'll have to remember that. We can't do square bale silage in this shed. Which is a shame. I'm disappointed with that. But still, never mind. That's alright. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. Right. It stacks them up one on top of the other. So we will dump 4 of those back in here, and then we'll use 2 of them. I wonder, because, you know, square bales of grass is actually quite unrealistic. I wonder if it would be possible for me to edit this in the XML and change it to silage bales rather than grass bales. I would prefer that. I would prefer to have silage rather than grass. I don't like the idea of the grass. I mean, it's useful having the grass bales for anybody that wants to play with the grass bales. But I would like to have, like... I'd like to have options. I'd like to be able to choose either a shed that will do the grass bales as well, or the no grass bales. And like here, I would love it if this was silage bales instead of grass. I think there is an update for it, and there are some other sheds that have been added into this whole thing now as well. There's quite a few different ones. There's ones for pallets, there's ones for wool, there's ones for... There's actually all kinds of them now. There's loads of different sheds. I might actually... ready for tomorrow's episode, I might go and get every single one of them installed and just active on here so that we've got them there that we can look at, and maybe we'll get a couple of different ones, because I mean there's some for the wool. We're not planning to do sheep on this map, so that doesn't really matter. I've only got pallet forks and a bucket for this one up here. I don't have a bale spike, so we're just gonna have to do this with pallet forks today. It's a little bit messy, it's not perfect, it's not really what I want to do, but we can live with it. So if I just bring that one round there, like that. And this is the big test, is do we have enough room to do everything properly that we want to be able to do here? You can pick up the bales with these. It does do just fine, picking up the bales. Yep, we can drop those in there like that. So then the next test is I'm going to bring this one over here. I'm going to lift this one up a little bit. We want to try and get a couple bales off. So you can move around with this. I do have enough room to move around with this like this. I can bring that one back. Lower that down there like that. And I'm going to try and do it from this side. It's very weird doing it from this side. There we go. Bring that one in there like that. And pick that bale up. And then I'm going to scoot that. Oh, I see. It's just got to be in the air somewhere. So we've got to be careful that we don't drive forward with these bales. We can put that one down like that, and then we can bring that one in there. And you see, it's not overly realistic using the pallet forks, but saying that, I have seen somebody using pallet forks to unload an entire lorry load of bales of straw before now, so it's certainly possible. It's just that you wouldn't stick them into the bale like is happening on here. What you would actually do is you put them underneath the bale or in between the bale. And the only difficulty he had was occasionally catching the string of the bale underneath him when he didn't want to. He was pretty good at it, though. He was very good at getting just the bales that he wanted to pick up. Years of experience. And, yeah, so, you know, obviously we asked him, why didn't he just have a bale spike instead of the pallet forks? And he said, well, his farm was... They didn't have a lot of animals on it. And... The straw, some of it was for like mushroom compost, but there was something else that was doing it. Oops, I didn't mean to do that. I honestly can't remember what he was using the straw for, but he wasn't using it for normal agricultural purposes. And so they had lots and lots of pallets around the place all the time, and he didn't have a quick coupling system for. He said he had a bale spike, but he didn't have a quick coupling on his old machine that he had, so he had to do it as a, it took quite a while to change over the bale spike. And so he usually, because he would normally have the pallet forks on, he just sort of got used to, whenever he needed a bale, he would go and pick it up using the pallet forks, and he just kind of got used to doing that. You get used to, careful, round bale is not accepted here. You get used to doing things, you get your eye in on things, and so he got his eye in on it, and he was absolutely fine. He'd do that for hours, and he was really, really good at it, and he very, very occasionally, the string would be in the wrong position, like I said, on the bale, and he'd have to take it out and go and try it again. But 9 times out of 10, it actually worked out really, really well. He had no problems with it whatsoever. He was actually really, really good with it, and the system, his system worked. It worked really well, and I was quite impressed with it. I got to say, I was quite impressed with how he was able to do it and how he made it all work, and it was just purely for convenience, because he spent 90% of his time moving pallets around, and so he needed the pallet forks on his loader. It just wasn't worth the bother of changing over to a bale spike to deal with a few bales, so he just did it with the pallet forks. Never seen anywhere else people doing it with pallet forks. I have seen in other places people using what do you call it? A thingamajig. The Who's-Me call it a bale spike on a forklift. Just an ordinary forklift. I've seen him putting a bale spike on that and using it. It was okay until he got to slightly softer bales, and if you got to slightly softer bales, it doesn't work quite so well because the bale tends to lean forward and you can't tilt the mast back enough on the forklift to sort of overcorrect for that. And so it gets a little bit unsteady, so you can't pick up more than 1 or 2 bales if the bales are a little bit soft. So that was his drawback using a fork. I didn't actually want to do that. I wanted to do that. I was trying to unhitch. I still occasionally press the unhitch button to unload, which is a flashback. Is what we used to do back in FS17. It was the same button, and now it's a different button. And I still occasionally press that same button. It's been that still. It is that ingrained into me. Because it was 2 iterations. It was FS15 and it was FS13 as well. Both of them. Right, what do we got then? This made very, very little difference at all. I'm actually looking at those numbers right there. I'm thinking perhaps it would be better if we were to go and get the pecan mixer and just say, you know what, we'll go for it. I think we'll do another load of this at the beginning of tomorrow's episode, but we kind of run out of time for it today, so we won't worry about it now. So my weekly question is, which combine are we going to use to do our harvest? If you remember, we have to hire one because our random event has said that our main combine has broken down and therefore we must lease one for the harvest. So it can be the Versatile right there. It can be the John Deere right there. It can be the New Holland there, or it can be the Massey Ferguson right there. It's your vote. It's your game. Head into the comment section down below. Let us know which one you want and why. And of course, don't forget to actually cast your vote in the top right-hand corner. And if you enjoyed the episode, then please head down below and give me a like. And if you really enjoyed it, then please tell your friends all about me. Get them to come and watch as well. That would be awesome. But until next time, thank you very much for watching. This is Frithgar. Goodbye, and see you later.